the legal and ownership challenges expats will face if they decide to purchase property in the Philippines. For expats choosing to purchase a property or remodel a girlfriend's parents' house in the Philippines provinces has a special set of difficulties. These difficulties include negotiating social dynamics and cultural quirks, as well as the legal complexity of property ownership. Additionally, expats frequently become the target of local rumors and scrutiny, which makes it more difficult for them to integrate into rural areas. I will explore the complex issues that expats encounter in these situations. The Philippines' regulatory restrictions on land ownership are one of the biggest obstacles for expats thinking about buying property or real estate there. Expats are not allowed to possess land in the Philippines, according to the Constitution. Except in extremely restricted circumstances, they are not allowed to possess the land beneath buildings, while they are allowed to own buildings. Example, if married to a Filipino citizen, they may co-own the property with their spouse. Due to these limitations, expats may be hesitant to make long-term investments in properties that aren't theirs, which may cause them to worry about their future security and property rights. This makes remodeling a Filipino partner's family's home a desirable choice, especially if it's thought to be a safer investment. But even this strategy has drawbacks. Even after making a sizable investment in renovations, an expat may discover that they have neither official ownership nor management over the improved home. The expat might not be able to assess their investment in the terrible case of a breakup or family conflict. The decision making process is frequently greatly impacted by the possibility of unstable tenure. This choice is heavily influenced by connections with a Filipino partner and their family, which have expectations. Family relationships are very important in Philippine society, and supporting and caring for extended family is a shared ideal. If an expat decides to remodel their girlfriend's family home, they might be seen as helpful, but they might also be expected to help out with other family costs. This might result in a difficult scenario where the expat is attempting to strike a balance between their personal goals and budget and the requirements and expectations of their partner's family. The expat may occasionally experience subliminal pressure to update the family house. An expat may sense this pressure indirectly through expectations or clues, even if it isn't explicit. It can be difficult to handle these relationships without upsetting family members or running the danger of miscommunications. Furthermore, it might be challenging for expats to understand such demands and react correctly because they might not be aware of the subtleties of Filipino culture. When expats go to the provinces for the first time, they sometimes hear stories and rumors regarding real estate investments and the dangers of investing in property connected to a Filipino spouse. Some of these tales serve as warnings, such as the expat who was under pressure to provide for a large family or who lost all rights to a residence after a romance ended. Even though these tales might or might not be true, they add to the overall fear that expats have when they decide to make a significant investment in their partner's nation of origin. Misconceptions exist regarding expats' financial situation as well. Some residents might believe that expats are wealthy and can support their extended family in addition to their spouses. If expats are already apprehensive about the possibility of financial expectations from family, this stereotype may make them feel uneasy or singled out for financial assistance. These myths and rumors have the potential to affect how an expat views the entire process over time and fuel their hesitancy. When renovating in a rural area, you can have restricted access to materials and professional personnel. There may be communication gaps or differences in expectations for quality because contractors and builders in the provinces might not be as conversant with contemporary methods and materials as expats are. Furthermore, supplies are frequently more costly and more difficult to locate in provincial locations, which raises remodeling prices and lengthens completion times. Alternatively, purchasing a house and starting from scratch presents its own set of difficulties. In many remote locations, infrastructure may not provide continuous access to utility like water, internet, and electricity. It can be difficult for an expat used to a certain degree of ease to adapt to these restrictions, which could affect their decision to build or purchase a property in the first place. Understanding local real estate values and possible remodeling costs, which can differ greatly by location, is essential when deciding whether to buy or renovate. It could be difficult for expats to obtain precise cost estimates, particularly if they depend on unofficial networks or word of mouth referrals. Although remodeling a home may appear less expensive at first, unforeseen structural repairs, possible compliance problems, and the expense of importing materials that are not easily accessible in remote locations can all result in hidden costs that mount up. Additionally, managing renovation expenses on a budget can be challenging, particularly for an expat utilizing foreign bank accounts because they might not have access to local financing options. Financial intricacy is further increased by remittance fees and currency exchange volatility. Being accepted by the locals is crucial for an expat residing in a rural area. While remodeling a family member's home may promote a more community focused view, building a home may convey an image of independence and self reliance. It might be difficult for some expats to fit in with a close knit society if they are thought to be too independent or distant. However, choosing to remodel a family home could foster ties with the neighborhood. It can be difficult to strike a balance between one's own vision and local sensibilities, which affects not only social relationships but also the expat's experience and comfort level in their new environment. However, expats who renovate may encounter resentment or criticism, particularly if their changes don't align with local aesthetics or if the renovation is perceived as excessively foreign or modern. It might be intimidating to navigate local legislation and bureaucratic processes. Expats who are not familiar with the local bureaucracy may become confused by the inconsistent enforcement of land titles, zoning laws, and building permits in rural areas. With complicated processes including local government offices, assessments, and documents that need translation or supplementary notarization, the process of purchasing real estate may be slow for expats. Additionally, if a home has several co-owners or if ownership records are out of current, an expat may run into unforeseen problems with succession rules and title conflicts. It might be dangerous to invest in a property whose ownership is unclear, particularly in rural areas where records may not be as accurate as in cities. Living in the provinces comes with a different set of lifestyle considerations, which can impact the choice between buying or renovating. Expats accustomed to a cosmopolitan lifestyle may find it challenging to adjust to the slower pace and different amenities found in rural areas. This lifestyle change may influence their decision as they may question the long term suitability of their investment. Typhoons, floods, and heat are examples of environmental elements that might influence decisions about building and remodeling. The impact of tropical environment on structures is sometimes underestimated by expats, who could also be unfamiliar with indigenous building methods that lessen these impacts. Although it takes a lot of research and trust, working with local contractors who are aware of the unique difficulties presented by the local environment can be quite beneficial. The emotional component of making a long term investment is profound for expats, especially if they are uncertain about their future in the Philippines. Committing to property in a foreign country requires envisioning a life in that place, which isn't always straightforward for an expat who may be undecided about their long term plans. Some expat may feel pressure to commit financially to demonstrate loyalty to their partner or their partner's family, even if they are still adjusting to life in the Philippines. In addition, if they decide to remain permanently, expats may be concerned about the safety of their social security, healthcare, and retirement plans. These worries can be very burdensome, adding emotional strain to a potentially difficult choice. In addition to being a financial decision, choosing to buy or refurbish is a very personal one for an expat living in the provinces. In addition to handling financial concerns and personal goals, it necessitates negotiating cultural norms, legal difficulties, and community inclusion. This decision necessitates thorough preparation, a practical grasp of the difficulties involved, and a willingness to adjust to the cultural environment. Above all, need to evaluate their long-term objectives in the Philippines and their level of comfort with the material and immaterial commitments that comes with this choice. All right, folks, that is all for today's show. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a good day.